What's that sound? It's For Amusement Only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast. Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Today, I've been playing a lot of Caravan. I had a fairly heavy-duty session here tonight and racked up about 250 replays before squandering quite a few of those, attempting to get a 5 in a line. I had a great set. Just needed the number 5 and could not for the life of me make it. I left the game in a state where the light of name is almost maxed out, so I'll be getting a nice 5 in a line boost here at some point. That's what the game awards you if you spell out the name Caravan. So, today though, I didn't just want to brag about my mediocre playing skills. I wanted to talk about Bally's 1962 bingo machine, the Twist. Now, the Twist, as you can imagine, was themed after the dance craze, and the backglass and cabinet artwork reflect listening to music, and there are several ladies dancing the Twist on the backglass, all in a different phase of the dance. Keep you guessing. And then the playfield is arranged in such a way, it's typical 25-hole playfield. I really like the artwork on this one, and they have wavy lines going down for each column of numbers. So starting with the number 1, which is in the upper left of the playfield, going down to 8, which is the first in line in the second row, 14, first in line in the third, 19, and 23. Those are all highlighted in blue with a white outline. And in between the white outline, there's a thread of red which weaves all the way up to 1 or 2 diagonal columns away. It's a pretty cool effect. I'm pretty impressed with this artwork. The columns are either blue or orange, and the holes are outlined in yellow. I think it's a very attractive game. Now, let's talk about the gameplay itself. This is a bingo game with the typical 5x5 card in the back glass. It's a single card game, but it has a few unique features. The first and most prominent is the Magic Cards feature. Now, I haven't talked about this before. It's unique to the Twist. And instead of actually moving the screen, which will change which numbers are in the yellow, red, or green odds, it actually shifts the numbers on the card around into different positions by utilizing the same rotating mechanism that the magic screens use, but only moving the columns of numbers. That's a pretty cool idea. And looking at the mechanism pictures on bingo.cdyn.com, it appears that the columns are arranged differently. So, for example, the leftmost column in the default position appears to be 14, 5, 16, 7, and 2. Now, if you were to move the magic card one position to the left, you would imagine that it would repurpose those same numbers 14, 5, 16, 7, and 2. but it doesn't. It, in fact, puts an entirely different set of numbers in there. So rather than what you might consider a Sudoku puzzle, right? It can only use each number one time on the entire card. Instead, it provides a random mixture of numbers. In fact, in multiple positions, a number will show up at least twice. For example, on the default position, again, 16 is the third one down in the first column. Now, if you've been listening for a long time, 16 is normally the center number. Well, 16 also appears in the fourth column as the fourth number down. That's kind of crazy. Because of that feature, this game looks like a lot of fun to play. I am really curious to play this one someday because it looks like you can drive yourself crazy really easily trying to get one of those numbers that lights multiple positions. So, looking at this image some more and just kind of following it to its conclusion, in the default position, the number 25 is the center number. 25 is also the bottom right corner number. So you already have a set just by getting a single number on the playfield. That's pretty unique and really interesting. Now, there's some other interesting things about this game. It's got triple deck scoring, which, as you know, means that there are red, yellow, and green sets of advancing odds. Aside from that, it's got an extended time tree, but it's not the typical before fourth, before fifth, and after fifth. It also doesn't have rollovers, so there's no way to increase your time tree just by playing the game. Instead, the time tree actually selects after you shoot your first ball. So once the first ball goes up, it'll select either before fourth or before fifth. Again, there's no after fifth. Now, another unique feature is that the game only uses a single button. There's no pick-a-play. So there's just a red button, and the game will tell you what it's going to award you on the next coin. So it always awards you something. You're always playing towards an increase somewhere, but the game will choose if it's going to award more of the Magic Cards feature, which, by the way, can be moved 11 positions, which is just crazy. Whether it's going to advance your scores in either the red, the yellow, or the green. So the game is either going to advance one of the odds colors, or it will advance the Magic Cards. Now, what it doesn't tell you is how much it's going to advance. So similarly to the skill shot feature on the bounty, if you go back and listen to that episode, that has a guaranteed advance. So every coin that you put in, it's going to jump one position, at least. Now, in some instances, it will jump 2 positions, and that is randomly awarded. Now, the same can probably be said of the twist. Now, whether it has a score extra step relay, which allows scoring to jump up multiple positions, not just 2, but maybe 5 positions off of a single coin, I'm not sure. Let me check. So, bad news. Just read the schematic, and this game does not have the score extra step relay. But that means it can still grant either 1 or 2 jumps at a time. It's also quite possible that I am just not seeing it, but I checked in line with the score discs. So, we'll see. I'm sure someone will correct me if they hear me steering people wrong. And please do, if you do. However, what I will say is that is pretty neat, and that was a way to skirt the law. So the game will tell the player that, yes, in fact, the next coin that you put in will do something. That's why it's not a gambling device. Now, let's pretend for a moment that we've played through a normal 5-ball bingo game. We don't have a winner, but we're really close. Like me with my caravan earlier. So, we play for an extra ball. This game has the extra ball feature. Now what's interesting, again looking at the schematic, it appears to use the normal extra ball circuitry that I'm familiar with from many other games. And the thing about that is that there is not a automatic award with that feature. Instead, the game will flash and search, and you will witness this, and if the circuits within the machine align properly, then it will step up the extra ball unit. Now, the number of times it steps is dictated by the extra ball circuitry, but it's not a guaranteed award. So, I think this game looks super fun. I've certainly never seen one, so it must be relatively unusual to come by, or they were produced and shipped to parts of the country in which I am not physically present. So, if that's the case, if anybody has any info on where I might find one of these, I would like to know. I'd especially love to play one day. Well, thank you very much for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS-1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at nbaldridge, and in fact, I did want to let listeners know that on Instagram I do tend to post little short clips of these games that I'm talking about, so that folks can see some of the unique features and gameplay of these games. They're typically, the normal Instagram video length, like 12 seconds or whatever it is. You can also listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.